The internet is on fire, and the streets are whispering louder than ever. Shocking new audio has just leaked raw, unfiltered, and dripping with secrets that were never meant to surface. Fans are stunned, families are divided, and the legacy of King Von may never be the same again. This isn't just another rap beef. This is blood, betrayal, and a possible cover-up that reaches deeper than anyone dared to imagine. Because in this leaked conversation allegedly recorded just days after Von's tragic death, someone drops a name. A name no one expected to hear. Durk's brother. That's right. According to anonymous sources and social media sleuths who've been analyzing every breath of that clip, someone close to Lil Durk might have known more than they ever let on. And now, with the leak spreading like wildfire across the blogs, fans are demanding answers. Was Von's murder really just a street hit gone wrong? Or has the truth been buried on purpose? Emotions are running high. Trust is crumbling. And behind closed doors, alliances are being tested like never before. So what really happened the night Von was killed? Who was protecting who? And who's finally ready to talk? Buckle up, because what you're about to hear could change the entire story. Forever, the audio dropped at 3:13 a.m., ripping through the quiet of the night like a bullet. Leaked to a notorious rumor account. The clip was grainy, but the voice was unmistakable. I didn't plan for any of this to come out. It began ragged and urgent. I was just doing what I was told. Fans are shocked. The name drop came next. Durk's brother. Suddenly, everything shifted. No one had ever publicly implicated Lil Durk, not his fans, not his detractors, but here it was. A voice. Trembling, confessing, whispering about involvement in a cover-up about King Von's murder. Chaos erupted online. Hashtags like #do, RK's brother busted, and #Von cover-up began trending. Forums and group chats lit up. Emotions ran high. The family was left divided. Loyalties broke. And as dawn broke, the clip had already gone viral. The audio wasn't long, barely 90 seconds. But in that time, the speaker lamented in half-uttered admissions that there were phones to be destroyed, stories to be dulled, and a brother to protect. Everything's on playback if this leaks, they said. So, I did what had to be done. The implication was clear. Von's death had been manipulated, cloaked, possibly by someone with access to insider knowledge. Fans were desperate for context. Analysts speculated. Who recorded it? How did it leak? Was Durk being set up? War? Was the cover-up real? Meanwhile, the fallout began in real time. Von's legacy was under fire. His estate released a statement, formal, measured. We are devastated by these allegations. We ask for space and verifiable truth. The tone was grief mixed with caution, as if tipping their hand without revealing the whole. Durk's camp fired back hours later, also in a statement that tried to strike calm. There's absolutely no truth to any claims that have Durk or his family involved in anything but mourning. We're reviewing legal options. Already the stage was set. Two explanations, both fierce, both defensive, in the middle of it all. Someone posted a screenshot from the leak uploader's DMs. This was always bigger than you think. Fans gasped. Had the whole story been hiding in plain sight? As social media tore itself apart, a small-time blogger in Chicago claimed to have the second half of the clip a continuation with more names, more pressure. It's not just Durk's brother, the blogger claimed. Someone from the label. Someone high up. The claim was absurd. And then the clip dropped. Dubbed Audio Leak 2, it doubled the drama. Now there were threats. There were whispered demands. There was guilt, but also fear. The media circled. Reality TV-style coverage ignited debates. Was it all clout? Was someone playing the culture? Or was this real tragedy colliding with the monsters of fame and family? One outlet ran a live breakdown. We've listened to this audio 100 times, and one moment stuck out a mention of a location, West End, 2 a.m., I was gone by then. Fans began identifying it as Vaughn's last known whereabouts. Conspiracy theorists had found a breadcrumb. Meanwhile, gatherings began. Not rallies, shadow vigils. People in the neighborhood of O Block lit candles. Someone put up a makeshift mural of King Vaughn, paired with the words, "Truth over tourism." Beneath it, expertly scrawled, "You deserve our voice." It felt like a protest and a prayer. And all the while, the leak worked its magic, reminding the world that even in death, King Vaughn's story was far from over. Inside the offices of only the family, sources whispered, tempers flared, calls were made. People were warned to stay silent, literally. Told not to speak to press under any circumstances. Durk himself, unreachable. Rumors spread that he was in mourning retreat, but others said he was furious about the leak. Tears, betrayal, and rage all tangled in the same knot. The family had been left divided between those who believed the leak and those who swore Durk's innocence to the end. We hear one insider voice in a leaked group message. "You wanna hide a body, hide it behind money and grief." They added, "But this leak ripped the shroud off everything." It echoed across group chats like a punch. Fans, always hungry for drama, were suddenly questioning everything they believed about loyalty, tragedy, and the blurred lines between truth and myth. And then the first twist. A minimal, quiet tweet from a verified account that very rarely speaks. Not everything is always what it seems. It was cryptic. It was ignored by some. But by insiders, it was a sign someone was onto the story. Someone with knowledge. Was it Vaughn's family? Durk's? Someone from the label? The uncertainty only fed more speculation. So where does this all go from here? Someone who claimed to be close to Durk posted on a forum. They're preparing a response video. Not a documentary, a face to camera. We don't know what will be said, but it's coming. Fans held their breath. People watched the hours tick by, looking for official messages, anything that might settle the storm. But even as the sun set, the storm only intensified. The transcript surfaced just before midnight, dropped by a burner account with only 3 followers. The document was 6 pages long and marked with the words "for legal use only." Nobody knew where it came from. But once fans got their hands on it, chaos erupted again. The opening line, "I ain't wanna say nothing, but they made me." That single sentence set off a digital firestorm. The speaker, still unidentified, but assumed to be close to the OTF, camp, began to unravel a timeline. Minute by minute, moment by moment. And this time, he didn't just mention Durk's brother. He mentioned an address, a timestamp, a burner phone. And then, the most damning line yet. He told me to clean it up before they get to it. The he, fans assumed, was Durk's brother D. But D Thang passed away in 2021, which led to more questions. Was this a posthumous accusation? Or was there someone else entirely hiding behind the nickname? Some speculated it referred to a different D, another family member Durk kept out of the spotlight. Suddenly, social media detectives were scrambling to piece it together. Instagram stories were being scoured, old tweets re-examined. Every blurred face and backstage photos was now a suspect. But the real bombshell dropped halfway through page 3 of the transcript. The speaker claimed that on the night of Vaughn's death, there was a call, a 3-way between Atlanta, Chicago, and Vegas. 3 locations, 1 incident. And then came the quote. "They said we had to make it look like a retaliation, not an inside thing." Fans were stunned. This wasn't a random street altercation. This was premeditated, orchestrated. or were covered up by people close to Vaughn. The theory tore the fan base in to two. On one side were the diehards who said it was all fake. A deep fake, an internet hoax designed to tear down legacies and divide the community. There's no way, one fan tweeted, Durk would never let that happen to Vaughn. They were family in blood and ink, but others weren't so sure. We all saw how fast everything got quiet, another wrote. How the cameras were pulled. How no one close to Vaughn really pressed charges. It always felt off. And behind the scenes, those closest to the situation were unraveling. A cousin of King Vaughn took to Facebook in a since-deleted post. We was told to stop asking questions, but now the truth screaming louder than ever. When fans asked for receipts, he posted a blurry screenshot of a text allegedly sent by someone in Durk's circle. It read, "Leave it alone. We already buried it." No context, no sender name, but enough to reignite speculation. Even more shocking, a former bodyguard who used to work for ATF went live on Instagram, face blurred, voice distorted. "I ain't gonna say names," he said. But certain folks knew Vaughn had beef that wasn't external. They knew the setup. They watched it happen. And now they're trying to gaslight everybody. The live barely lasted 15 minutes before it was cut. Viewers reported glitches, buffering, and sudden black screens. By the time it ended, the account was wiped clean. That same night, Durk's personal Instagram went dark. His profile pic vanished. His last 3 posts were archived. Fans panicked. Was it damage control? Was he hacked? Or was he preparing to respond? In the absence of answers, rumors multiplied like wildfire. One of the biggest came from a Chicago reporter with ties to local law enforcement. He tweeted, "You didn't hear this from me, but let's just say certain agencies are listening. To the same leaks y'all are," fans exploded. If true, that would mean the leaked audio had caught the attention of federal authorities. And if they were involved, the stakes had just gone from music industry scandal to criminal investigation. At the same time, members of Vaughn's inner circle began speaking out. A close friend posted a cryptic message. "We was loyal to the wrong ones." Another simply said, "Vaughn ain't die for clout." Their silence had broken, and now the pain poured out like poison. One of the most emotional moments came when Vaughn's sister, Kayla, tweeted and deleted a thread that started with, "They tried to keep me quiet." What followed was a series of images, a blurry photo of a text, an old picture of Vaughn on FaceTime, and a handwritten note with just 4 words, "He knew too much." The tweet disappeared in under 2 minutes, but screenshots were already circulating like wildfire. The drama reached a boiling point in Atlanta. A local radio station did a live show titled Cover Up or Clout Chase. One of the hosts, a former industry executive, said, "I've seen it before. When money moves faster than grief, people do dark things to keep the business alive." Callers rang in, some defending Durk, others accusing him. But one caller stood out. A woman, voice shaking, who said, "I was at the studio that night." The energy changed after the call, and no one's told the truth since. No one could confirm her identity, but her voice haunted the airwaves for hours after back in Chicago. Another twist, surveillance camera clip, surfaced blurry and lurid. But it appeared to show a group of men hurriedly removing a hard drive from a studio room. The date stamp, the same night as the alleged cover-up meeting. Fans went wild. One YouTuber zoomed in and claimed one of the men matched the build of Durk's cousin. Others weren't convinced. This could be anybody, skeptics said. But the timing was too perfect to ignore. Tensions began boiling over offline. A mural of King Vaughn in Atlanta was vandalized, spray-painted with the word "snitch." Fans were outraged. A crowd gathered the next day to repaint it and leave flowers. He died too young, one fan told a local reporter, and now his truth is dying with him. But one person still hadn't said a word. Durk. And according to someone inside his camp, that silence was about to break. Because the next day, Durk reportedly sat down for a filmed conversation. The room was dimly lit. One camera. No entourage. Just Lil Durk sitting in a plain white hoodie, his eyes tired, hands clenched in his lap. No jewelry. No music in the background. The video was raw, stripped down, almost too personal. "I don't usually talk like this," he began, voice low. "But y'all been saying too much, and it's time I say something." The video dropped unexpectedly on Durk's private site, no Instagram announcement. No trailer, no hype. It was just there, 27 minutes long. Titled, "The Truth That Hurt Me." And from the second it went live, fans flooded the link. Within 15 minutes, the site crashed. Before it did, Alson saw the first 10 minutes and it was explosive. Durk didn't deny the audio leaks. Instead, he looked straight into the lens and said, "There's voices out there saying my blood, my people, was involved in Von's death. That's a lie." He paused, swallowing hard. But there was stuff happening around us. Stuff none of us wanted to admit. He spoke of a growing tension between Von and certain unnamed figures in the camp. Jealousy, ego, mistrust. He was becoming too powerful, Durk admitted. He had his own voice, his own rules, and that scared people. He didn't name his brother directly, but he did say this: "Not everybody who shares your last name shares your soul." That one line sent shockwaves across the fanbase. The chat section of the stream was flooded with reactions. Is he talking about D-Thang? Did he just admit there was tension before the murder? He not denying it? He's dancing around it. But the biggest twist came at minute 11. Durk leaned forward, voice barely above a whisper, and said, "I know who recorded that audio. The camera zoomed slightly, and I know why they leaked it." He didn't say a name. T showed a phone screenshot, a partial contact name blurred, a voice memo file titled Insurance 3 a.m. The timestamp matched the original leak. Fans lost it. This was never about clout, Durk continued. This was about leverage, about power, about somebody who thought leaking pain would put M back in the spotlight. He claimed the person who leaked the audio wasn't part of Von's family, but someone who had once tried to sign him and failed. "They've been mad since 2019, Durk said. "They felt like Von left him behind, and now they trying to make it look like we left him to die." Theories exploded. Some fans pointed to a disgraced former manager who once accused Von of breach of contract. Others said it was a label executive who got cut off right before Von's debut project. Blogs began posting leak suspect lists, analyzing old pictures, beef timelines, and archived tweets. Reddit threads ran wild, but while Durk's video was gaining traction, another clip surfaced. This time, it was Von himself. An unreleased Instagram Live from months before his death, recovered from a backup fan account. In the video, Von speaks vaguely about trust issues. "I don't even know who's real no more," he says, pacing. "They smile in your face and then make calls you don't hear about till it's too late." He doesn't name names, but the energy is heavy. The comment section, frozen in time now, reads like prophecy. One comment read, "He knew something was coming." Fans started connecting dots. A text message Von sent to a close friend 2 nights before his death was leaked anonymously. It read, "If anything happened to me, look at the circle. Don't look at the streets. Look inward." Chills, the internet. Couldn't breathe. Meanwhile, someone from Von's legal team dropped another bomb. They posted, "We tried to request full phone logs from that week. We were denied. Twice." They didn't specify by who. But it added fuel to the growing suspicion that some entity was actively suppressing information. And, just when it felt like the story couldn't get any darker, a mysterious voice message surfaced from a backup phone allegedly tied to the Ots camp. The voice was digitally altered, but the message was clear. They asked me to erase everything tied to that call. I didn't. I saved a copy. I knew this day would come. Attached was a short clip, barely 4 seconds, but you could hear a man say, "Vaughn, don't need to. No, just get it done before Sunday." The date matched the week of his murder. The speaker wasn't identified, but the implication was haunting. Someone didn't want Vaughn in the loop. Someone made a move without him. The family was reeling. Vaughn's mother, who had stayed largely silent throughout the drama, posted an Instagram story late that night, just a black screen with the words, "Truth been hiding in our own house." No explanation, no follow-up. Just raw heartbreak. Kayla followed with another post, this time more direct. "My brother ain't die in the streets. He died in betrayal." Full stop. The pain was undeniable. And for fans, it felt like watching a Greek tragedy unfold in real time. A young rap king murdered, his closest allies falling apart, and a digital battlefield now littered with accusations, leaks, and broken bonds. But even in all this, someone remained silent. Someone who fans expected to speak, but hadn't said a word. A word. King Von's old producer, the man who had helped shape his sound, who was there for every studio session, who once said, "Vaughn never left a booth without asking who was in the hallway." And according to a private message shared by a trusted music journalist, that producer had something to say. "I got receipts," the message read. But they not just about Durk, they about what really happened in that hotel hallway. And who told who to stand down. Fans braced themselves. Was the truth finally coming? Or was this yet another twist? In a saga where loyalty, fame, and pain were too tangled to separate, the message from Von's producer set off a tidal wave of speculation. Receipts, they said. That meant proof, evidence, the kind of stuff that could change everything. Fans waited with bated breath, the digital world buzzing louder than ever. But the producer was silent for days, until suddenly a cryptic tweet appeared. Not everyone who stood quiet was afraid. Some were paid. Those 6 words sparked a frenzy. Paid off. Bribery. Cover-up. The internet exploded. Fan pages exploded. The accusations flew like wildfire. Was the music industry dirtier than anyone imagined? And who were these silent puppeteers pulling strings behind the scenes? The leak was real. The pressure was mounting. And now, even the family was fracturing like a shattered mirror. Sources close to Von's camp revealed behind the scenes. Arguments had escalated into full-blown family warfare. One insider claimed there was shouting matches over loyalty. Some wanted to take legal action. Others begged for silence. It was ugly. It was painful. The family was divided between those demanding the truth come out, and those fearful of what that truth might do to the legacy they wanted to protect. Meanwhile, Durk's brother D-Thang remained a ghost in the story, the name tossed around but never seen. Friends said he had been caught in the middle of business moves he didn't fully understand. And others claimed he'd been manipulated by powerful figures within OTF. Accusations flew. Some called him a scapegoat. Others called him the key to unlocking the whole conspiracy. A leaked text message between D-Thang and an unnamed OTF executive added another layer of complexity. It read, "We're gonna have to erase some things before this blows up. Trust me." Again, no context, but fans instantly connected the dots. The drama spilled into public appearances. During a recent interview, Durk's manager was visibly uncomfortable when asked about the leak. "We're focused on music, not rumors," he said quickly before cutting the interview short. The media smelled blood. But the silence from Durk's camp was deafening. Then came another shock. An anonymous whistleblower claiming to be a former ATF insider contacted a popular podcast known for exposing rap industry secrets. In a lengthy interview, the whistleblower detailed a web of manipulation, contracts, threats, and power plays. It wasn't just about Von or Durk, they said. This was bigger than the streets. It was about control. This explosive interview added fuel to the fire, painting a picture of an empire built on fragile alliances and broken promises. Fans began to question everything: the music, the friendships, the public personas. Was OTF really a family? Or just a business where loyalty came with a price? Amid all the noise, Von's Legacy Foundation stepped forward, releasing a heartfelt statement. King Von's mission was to inspire, not divide, they said. We ask that respect and love guide the conversations moving forward. But even their plea couldn't calm the storm. Some fans saw the foundation's statement as a subtle accusation against Durk's camp, suggesting a growing rift, not just between families, but between the factions that represent Von's memory. Social media was ablaze with debates. Conspiracy theorists pieced together timelines, leaked calls, and offhand comments into wild theories. Some even suggested that Von's murder was orchestrated by someone inside ATF to seize control of his rising star power. The family feud escalated. In a rare moment, Von's cousin confronted Durk on social media, accusing him of silencing truth for profit. Durk's response: a cryptic quote from a Tupac song. They got money for wars, but can't feed the poor. Fans debated if this was an admission or deflection. As if that wasn't enough, another audio leak surfaced. This time, it was a heated phone conversation between two men arguing about who knew too much and who needed to be kept quiet. Voices were muffled, but the desperation and anger were unmistakable. The clip ended with a chilling warning: if this gets out, nobody walks away clean. The public was hooked. Streaming numbers for all involved artists spiked, proving that scandal sells. But behind the scenes, trust was crumbling. Von's sister Kayla was seen leaving a meeting with legal counsel. Insiders speculated a lawsuit was brewing, perhaps against ATF or those implicated in the leaks. The question was, who would be the target? And would the truth finally come out in court? The last twist came when a shadowy figure claiming to be the original leaker contacted multiple blogs with a manifesto. They claimed their intention was never to harm Von or Durk, but to expose the lies behind the music. They accused the industry of using pain as currency and vowed to release more evidence unless a public apology was made. Fans were divided between those wanting to see all the cards on the table and those fearing the unraveling of everything they loved about their idols. The entire saga had become more than just a murder mystery. It was a story about family, betrayal, power, and the dark side of fame. And as night fell on the city that birthed the drama, one thing was clear: the story was far from over. The drama surrounding Durk's brother and the explosive Von murder cover-up has shaken the rap world to its core. Families torn apart, secrets lurking in the shadows, and voices that refuse to be silenced. This story has everything fans crave: betrayal, heartbreak, and shocking revelations. But after all the leaks, accusations, and cryptic messages, one question remains: will the full truth ever come out? Or will this tangled web of lies and loyalties keep spinning, trapping everyone in a cycle of pain? What's clear is that no one involved is untouched. The family was left divided, emotions ran high, and fans are still searching for answers. From the raw, heartbreaking confession from Durk to the mysterious whistleblowers and the chilling new audio clips, every piece only adds more fuel to the fire. Now, it's your turn. What do you think really happened that night? Who do you believe is telling the truth? Is this a genuine cover-up, or just another industry game? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear your hottest takes. If you want to stay on top of every new twist in this jaw-dropping saga, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Trust me, with stories this wild,